It's a very Merry Christmas indeed. That's right. It is Christmas time. And of course, Hoyoverse has given us one of the best presents that we could possibly get. Well, probably not actually, because you know, they're not giving us a free 5-star. No. But they are giving us a pretty fun 5-star. And who am I talking about exactly? Well, I'm talking about Navia, the newest Claymore Geo user in Genshin Impact's version 4.3. Now, of course, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and hit that notification bell to be notified of when the next Genshin Impact video comes out. And of course, every time I come onto this, I want to talk about Gamer Subs, the gluten-free, keto-friendly energy drink that is fantastic and good in taste and just in general. Like, it brightens up my day every time I'm able to actually like drink it. So today we are going to be talking about a build guide on how you're going to build your Navia, or how you should build your Navia, at least on the casual side. Not saying that it has to be game breaking, of course, but yeah, we're basically going to be talking about how to build your Navia. We're going to ascend her from level 1 to level 90 and also talk about builds that you could work with her. But of course, without any further delay, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Navia, as you can see here, the Claymore user as a weapon, of course, under the Geo element, which is really cool. I think, honestly, her being Geo has been a blessing. Now, why am I saying that? Well, first, let's go ahead and talk about how you're going to ascend your Navia here. As you can see from this little chart right here, look at this little chart. Look at this little thing right here. Now, we're going to talk about the stuff you're going to need to ascend her from level 1 to level 90. Now, first things first, you're going to need one of these Prithia Topaz Silvers. You're going to need one of these, right? Actually, we're going to go up here. That's much easier, and you can actually see this stuff a lot better. So you're going to need one of these Topaz Silvers here. You're going to need nine of these Topaz Fragments, 9 of these Topaz Chunks, and 6 of the Topaz Gemstones. Now remember, of course, I talk about this every time we do a build guide for a Hoyoverse game. They go in rules of 3. So 3 silvers make a fragment, 3 fragments make a chunk, and 3 chunks make a gemstone. Very easy to follow. Now, of course, outside of that, you're going to need the boss mat, which is the artificed spare clockwork component, Copulius. I always mess up on that one. You would think that I would know how to say this after so many times of talking about it, but the Copulius here you get from the Icewind Suite. Now, I believe that this is the second option when you go and fight Icewind Suite, but don't quote me on that. Just make sure that you go and fight them, and I believe it's the second one, but don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I apologize, but it is one of them. Now, you're going to need 46 of them, which means that you're going to be fighting them a good chunk of times. Now, you're going to need, like I said, 46. I don't know why I have to repeat that one more time. 46 of them, which is a lot. I believe it's going to be about 13 to 16 times you're going to fight them. So it's like 3 times what? 3 times 10 is 30. So you think, okay, 3 times, you know, a number. But yeah, so about 3 times, 15 is 45. So you're gonna have to fight them at least 16 times. So it's fun. It's a grind and a half. Now, of course, you're also going to need the new Fontaine exclusive item that came out in 4.2, and that's the Spring of the First Dewdrop. You're going to need 168 of these, and right now you can collect every 2 to 3 days about 70 of these, so be prepared. Or you could go into your friends' worlds if you have friends, unlike me. I'm just kidding. But if you have friends that are willing to let you in their world, you can get all of it done within a day, so not too hard. And then, of course, you're going to need these Transonic Pearls. You're going to need the Transonic Chunks, and of course also the Transonic Crystals. Now, as you can see right down here, you're going to need 18 of these Transonic Pearls. You're going to need 30 of the Transonic Chunks, and then the Transonic Crystals, you're going to need 36 of them. Now, again, rules of 3. 3 of these pearls here make the chunk, and 3 of the chunks make the crystal. Now, you get these from the Oceanid water droplet appearance, so make sure you fight them. You could also get them in the Paimon shop, so there you go. Now, of course, not only are you going to need that to make your Spina de Rosula girl fantastic, you're also going to need to level up her talents. And honestly, I would say triple crowning her wouldn't be a bad idea. Definitely not a bad idea, but I would definitely say, right, that you should focus on all three about evenly. If you're not going to triple crown her, focus on them evenly. But let's go ahead and talk about the materials you're going to need if you're going to triple crown her, right? So you're going to need first the equities, which you're going to need 9 of the teachings in total. You're going to need 63 of the guides of equity, and then followed by 114 of the philosophies of equity. Now that's a lot. You can only farm this dungeon Mondays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Sunday is universal for everyone. So, but yeah, you only get 3 times a week to really farm this. I would highly recommend farming it because again, rules of 3, you're gonna need a lot of these philosophies of equity. Now let's go ahead and talk about the transonic pearls, chunks, and crystals again. You're gonna need 18 more of the pearls. You're gonna need 66 of the chunks and also 93 of the crystals. That's a lot of those water droplets. Make sure to use your traveler's handbook to look for these every single day. They respawn every day. It's worth the grind. Now, of course, also outside of those, as you can see, if I can find it, because I'm blind as a bat. There we go. You're gonna need the lightless silk strings, which you get from the new all-devouring narwhal. I always say whale, but it's a narwhal apparently. But yes, the all-devouring narwhal that just came out in 4.2, you actually have to farm that boss. So make sure you get that done. You're gonna need a total of 18 of these lightless silks right here. But the cool thing is that you're actually gonna be able to use the modulation thing over with Timaeus, and you'll be able to get that done. Followed by, of course, 3 crowns of insight. No biggie on that. That's normal. Now, of course, if you're thinking about the amount of more that you're going to need a grand total of about 7.1 to 7.4 million. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but I definitely would just say get 7.4 million, overcompensate, and you'll be perfectly fine. Navia is one of those characters that I will definitely say is worth your time. Now, of course, for me, I didn't have a lot of time to actually make my Navia as good as she possibly could, but we do have the trial Navia, and I will definitely say this Navia is actually pretty freaking cracked. So let's go ahead and talk about her first. First things first, let's go ahead and look at the attributes here. We're looking at a 77 to 120, which is actually pretty freaking crazy to me because I think that's way too low. However, you're gonna see here in a bit that it works perfectly fine. Now, the main stats that you're going to be focusing on with your Navia here before we get into the weapons and stuff is your crit rates and crit damages first. That's the golden key right there. Attack percentage, ER percent, and of course attack flat. Now, before we get into that, hold on. I got this. This moaning is weird. Okay, Navia, stop. Everybody's got to hear the moaning now. Everybody's got to. But yes, crit rate, crit damage, both those, whatever you need more. Attack percentage, ER percentage, and of course attack flat. You don't need to worry about elemental mastery or anything else like that. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the weapons here. Now, weapon choices. Obviously, her best in slot is the Verdict. As you see, increases attack by 20%. When party members obtain elemental shards from crystallization reactions, the equipping character will gain 1 seal, increasing elemental skill damage by 18%. That's crucial because of what we're going to get to in her kit. Now, of course, if somehow you don't have the Verdict, you can go for the Beacon of the Reed Sea, which is another actual like claymore. The only problem is that it hasn't come back in a banner in a while. So if you don't have it, you're kind of out of luck, to be honest. Hopefully it does end up becoming part of that. Now you could also go for the Serpent Spine, which gives you about 27.6% crit rate and is a very solid option. You could also go for the Tidal Shadow, which is a brand new claymore that came out. So definite choices. But of course, if you don't have any of those, Wolf's Gravestone is definitely a good choice, especially boosting up that attack percentage. However, if you have the Primos and you want to get her weapon, I don't blame you because this axe looks so freaking cool. Now, of course, let's talk about artifacts here. The best set for her, of course, is the Nighttime Whispers of the Echoing Woods. The reason being, the 2-piece attack plus 18%. She scales off attack, so that's perfect. 4-piece set, after using an elemental skill, gain a 20% geo damage bonus for 10 seconds. While under a shield granted by the crystallization reaction, the above effect will be increased by 150%, and this additional increase disappears 1 second after the shield is lost. This is crucial because you're going to want to make sure to get all these crystallized shards, and this plays into that whole meta right there. Now, Other sets that you could use a 4-piece golden trope. Definitely worth it, I guess, in a way. I wouldn't say that it is. Oh, hold on. Whoopsie. Stop it. We're going here. 4-piece golden trope is definitely worth it because it does boost up that skill damage as well. Followed by a 4-piece archaic Petra, which is, you know, for geo damage. You can go 2-piece archaic, 2-piece, 18% of any of the other ones like this Nighttime Whispers or, you know, freaking gladiators. You have different options, but I would definitely say if you're not going to go for Nighttime Whispers, go for golden trope. Probably the best bet in my personal opinion. Now, of course, when you're looking at your stats, right, for your artifacts, your main thing is you want to focus, like I said, crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, ER percentage. So your main stats for your sands here should be attack percentage. Your main stat for your goblet should be geo damage bonus because she is going to be a DPS. I've seen people call her a switch DPS. I've seen her called a sub DPS. I'm just going to call her a DPS because you could use her in any way, shape, or form that you absolutely so choose. Now, of course, again, goblet, geo damage bonus, pretty simple. Your circlet should be crit rate or crit damage depending on what you're lacking. If you're using a weapon like the Verdict where you're getting 0.1 here, 20.1. I believe that the Verdict goes up to 22%, maybe 22.1%. So if you're not lacking in the crit rate department, go for crit damage. If you are going to use something that isn't going to have that crit rate, but you have that at least 40%, which I think is the low end, but worth it, go for that. Now let's go ahead and talk about the talents really quick. Of course, when you're looking up your talents, like I said, you should focus on them evenly, but I would definitely say skill takes precedence. I leveled up my burst on mine first, but mine's not done. I'm still gonna level up the, you know, her, get out of here. I'm gonna level up her normal attack a little bit more, but I want to make sure to get the skill because that is the priority. That's the big thing. The skill: when a character in the party obtains a elemental shard created from the crystallization reaction, Navia will gain 1 crystal shrapnel stack. Navia can have up to 6 stacks of the crystal shrapnel stack at once. Each time crystal shrapnel gain is triggered, the duration of the crystal shrapnel stacks you already have will be reset. When she fires, Navia will consume all crystal shrapnel stacks and open her elegant yet lethal Gunbrella, firing multiple Rosula shard shots that can penetrate opponents, dealing geo damage to opponents' hit. She basically pulls out a shotgun. That's really what it is. When 0, 1, 2, or 3 or more stacks of crystal shrapnel are consumed, 5, 7, 9, 11 Rosula shard shots will be fired respectively, and the more Rosula shard shots that strike a single target or a single opponent, the greater the damage dealt to them. When all 11 Rosula shard shots strike, 200% of the original amount of damage is dealt. In addition, when more than 3 stacks of crystal shrapnel are consumed, each stack consumed beyond those 3 stacks will increase the damage dealt by this Gunbrella attack by an additional 15%. So you're getting 15% bonus for 8 more stacks on top of that. Let's see, you look at that, that's 30, 60, 90, 120 extra, plus the 200% on top of that. She's busted on this skill. And then if you go for the Osuea, periodically when Navia fires her Gunbrella, a Surging Blade will be summoned, dealing Osea aligned geo damage. Now, of course, we also have, I think this one ties, yeah, this one's the one that ties into it. So this first Ascension talent, for 4 seconds after using Ceremonial Crystal Shot, which is your skill, the damage dealt by Navia's normal attacks, charge attacks, and plunging attacks will be converted into geo damage, which cannot be overridden by other elemental infusions, and the damage dealt by Navia's normal attacks, charge attacks, and plunging attacks will be increased by 40%. That's why you want to evenly spread it out, and why she's really good with someone like Bennett. So Bennett is going to be a good character to have alongside her. Talking about the burst here, as the Sunlit Skies Singing Salute is actually one of the funnest bursts that I've seen. On the orders of the president of the Spina de Rosula, call for a majestic Rosula Dorada salute. Unleashes a massive cannon bombardment on opponents in front of her, dealing AoE geo damage and providing cannon fire support for a duration afterwards, periodically dealing geo damage to nearby opponents. When cannon hits, or when a cannon attack hits opponents, Navia will gain 1 stack of crystal shrapnel. This effect can be triggered up to once every 2.4 seconds. That's big because, again, getting those shrapnel shots is key to being able to deal the most amount of damage, and we'll see it in this trial. Now, of course, we also have our second Ascension talent. For each Pyro, Electro, Cryo, or Hydro party member, Navia gains 20% increased attack. The effect can stack up to 2 times. So really, you just need 2 extra people. Now, of course, as you see here, we have 2 different Pyro characters with Zhangling and Bennett, with, of course, Ningguang. Now, this team I probably wouldn't use on a regular. I would probably get Bennett and then maybe use like Official, a Himeko, or somebody along those lines, and maybe even get a freaking Zhongli in there, just to get some shields. But let's go ahead and talk about this. So the main thing is getting...
How it's shaped like a heart?
Yes, it is. But the main thing that you want to focus on is getting as much infusion ready to go to get those crystallization reactions and be able to do as much damage as you possibly can. So first things first, we're going to focus on getting everything going, right? Get that. Gonna get all these reactions and we're gonna grab those because as you can see, she's gaining those little shotgun shots right on the side. I'm gonna grab those and then gonna grab that, get that going, get this, and then we're gonna activate this salute so that we can start gaining. As you can see, we're just about there. Now we have all shots ready to go. We see this boy and boom, 133,000. We one-shot that boy. And even then, 75K. That is insane to do. And that's not even the highest that I've seen her go. I saw her in my first time trying this trial, and you'll probably see it when we talk about it, is actually, or not when we talk about it, but when we do the summon video. You'll see it in the summon videos when I did the trial. I'm going crazy. But when I did the trial in the summons video, I actually went up to 159K. So she's absolutely cracked. Do I think that she's a must-have character? No. But I think as endgame and you're looking for a fun character to play as you just saw, I had so much fun with that just playing it again. And I think that's the key to Genshin's success right now, is making these characters that are actually very fun to play. Now, are they gonna be like crazy successful just doing that? They're already crazy successful, but if they want to continue, they're gonna have to do this plus more. But I will say, Navia, to me and to a lot of other content creators, is a breath of fresh air as a character for just the fun value. And that's what I really like about Navia. Now, of course, everybody, if you like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Let me know in the comments down below if I actually helped you. And honestly, let me know if you're having fun with Navia. I'm having a blast with her, and I'm still trying to build mine to 100% of what she's capable of. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And as always, we will catch you all in the next video. Merry Christmas to you all, and to all a good night.